President Trump continues to win, and with him, Republicans continue to win and win, as the president promised during the election of 2016. This primary season leading up to the midterms looks like a replay, doesn't it? Thanks to the president's endorsements. Last night, Henry McMaster, the governor of South Carolina, securing a victory in the South Carolina primary. Dan Donovan winning big in New York. And even President Trump's old adversary, Mitt Romney, endorsed by President Trump. Amazing, amazing. I've always wanted to talk to the president about why he did that. But nonetheless, with that endorsement, Romney won in the Utah primary for the Senate. Joining us tonight, co-host of The Five, Kimberly Guilfoyle. And Kimberly, great to have you with us. The president doing it again.
Unbelievable.
And you would think there should be no doubt in the minds of anyone in the House of Representatives about attaching themselves to President Trump's Make America Great Again, or as I'm sure by the time we get to November, it's Keep America Great Again contract. It just seems straightforward.
But why not? I mean, it's like, I hate to be the master of the obvious, but the man knows what he's doing, okay? He knew how to defeat 16 candidates and just make short shrift of them. And now he is fulfilling all of his campaign promises and exceeding all expectations. He underpromised even and has over-delivered a number of things that, very good.
Think about the last time a president over-delivered. Huh?
I can't. When has that ever happened? So in terms of jobs, the economy, what he's trying to do even on immigration, this is a man who's very focused and determined, moving on target to achieve all of the goals. And the American people, it's resonating with them. Not just the working men and women across the country that were left behind by previous administrations. Okay, forgotten by everybody, discarded.
3 presidents in succession who preceded President Trump. It is amazing. And by the way, the president getting so mad at Harley Davidson, he's spitting nails. And all of a sudden, so in his honor, tonight we're going to resurrect 2 terms that you don't hear in the national media anymore. The offshoring of production by Harley Davidson. That's got to stop, Harley Davidson. And so does the outsourcing that got them into the mess they were in to begin with.
He's not going to let it slide. That's the thing. You know why? Because he's putting America first and American jobs and our economy. That's the way it should be. In the past, you've had people who were apologists and felt shameful because we were making a buck here and putting dollars in people's pockets, working men and women across the country. Now he's saying to the companies, I will hold you accountable. I will call you out. I will shame you if you don't behave in the right way. I have no problem with that. It actually works because he knows what he's doing as a businessman. He knows what it takes to stimulate an economy.
The American people have learned about trade. I can tell you from having covered Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, and Barack Obama, the 3 of them, what they knew about trade deficits, trade balances, international payment systems, you could put in a thimble. This president has taught more Americans about the importance of balanced, fair trade, reciprocal trade, and the mercantilism of both China and Germany and the European Union. Suddenly people are realizing, the president's right. The United States has been played for chumps for almost 50 straight years.
It's absolutely true. And it's just he had to call it out
because
it was appalling, because we've been subsidizing people that thumb their nose at us and show total disrespect and disregard. No more free lunch. There has to be reciprocity in business and in trade. And that's all this president is trying to do, is even out the playing field. And by the way, it's shameful behavior on previous administrations and past presidents that didn't care enough to put this country first to make sure our economy was robust and that we were getting a fair deal.
And by the way, the national left-wing media was complicit with those 3 administrations, the Chamber of Commerce, the Business Roundtable, the Koch brothers, and Wall Street, because they wanted more cheap labor. They still do.
Of course they did.
Paul Ryan, for crying. I had to mention his name.
I know.
It's difficult, but it is. I'll form the words on my lips. Paul Ryan's silly bill, a compromise bill, so he could go to his masters and say, I tried to open the borders. I tried to get you more cheap labor and suppress wages in this country, as has been done for the past 20 years. Before President Trump was elected. Yeah,
no more open borders and no more globalists either, okay? Because it's not our job and responsibility to subsidize all these other countries and to have a nation that's lawless, where people are coming in, total disregard, total disrespect, coming across, and then we're made to feel sorry for it. No, get in line. follow the process that's been set up like everybody else before you. Absolutely. And quit trying to come into this country and take without doing it in the right way. Look, we love immigrants. We love people coming into the country, but there's a legal process that must be adhered to, and it must be observed by other countries. Because guess what? They don't let us just saunter in wherever we want, do they? No.
No. And we're going to build a wall because the president said so. And he is aboard that aircraft that you see right there. Air Force One has landed in Fargo, North Dakota. The president is scheduled to begin the rally at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And by the way,
well, he's the best one to sell the message, right? When he goes to these rallies, he just really, it's so exciting. People are, it resonates. He gets a lot of energy and momentum from it, and he delivers results.
I get a kick. He was in West Columbia, South Carolina, Monday night. And he started going down a nostalgic path, which everyone enjoys because it's when the country began the great turnaround under President Trump. Boy, that is some airplane. He's right. I got a kick out of him. He said in that speech that night, he said, 22 hours from Singapore. He said even in Air Force One, 22 hours is a long time.
Brutal, but look at what he delivered, and he kept working right on the tail of that, too.
Look what else he's delivered, and more winning as he promised. I always laugh about it, but I assure you I'm laughing from just sheer joy of the thing, and that is winning and winning and winning. The Supreme Court handing down decision after decision, whether it's it took a long time.
Yeah,
but the travel ban, I'm sorry, left wing, you're just going to have to take your nasty ideological angst and work it out with your therapist. The High Court has reinforced the Constitution, and yes, our president is in charge of national security.
Right. Well, they tried to strip him of his powers. He's commander-in-chief. It's incumbent upon him to make sure that, yes, that we have national security in this country, that people are protected. We're not a country with open borders and lawlessness.
And you know what else?
You can't tolerate it. And now he's going to get more wins because of the recent vacancy, the retirement of Justice Kennedy.
And 40 years of unions being able to confiscate the dues of people who don't want any part of the union or want to support the union's choice of candidate.
Absolutely. Now individuals can cast their ballot for the candidate that they choose and not be monopolized by these unions who really have tried to hijack elections and steal votes for years, and that's come to an end, too.
And the Trump era is beginning.
The Trump economy.
I think it's a pretty good start.
Yes, Trump national security, all of the above.
And we're going to recite all of those subjects and issues endlessly because we just love winning and winning.